My only will value the same. So as we talk tonight, I keep saying tonight, as we talk today,
Mhm.
because I don't want to timestamp it or day stamp it or whatever. But as we talk, I just want to kind of hear your thoughts on success, and we'll flow from that. We're just going to talk tonight. Again, do it again. We're just
Very
gonna
broad topic of success.
we're gonna whittle it down. And thanks for everybody who's watching this on live stream right now. We appreciate you. Let's go ahead and whittle it down. So let's start with the grand topic of success. When you hear the word success, tell us what that means to you.
Well, you could definitely tell it what it doesn't mean
Okay.
sometimes.
We'll start there. Go ahead.
Because sometimes, yes, you could say, what does success mean to you? And you could give out this whole materialistic and monetary formula slash definition. But the thing is there's a difference between goals and success.
Okay. I like where you're going. Go ahead.
I had goals,
Okay.
but that didn't necessarily define success.
Okay.
So I thought, and I grew up thinking that you go to college, you get a degree, you get a job,
Yeah.
and that makes you successful.
Yeah.
Well, I went to college.
Yeah.
I got 3 degrees.
Yeah. More than a thermometer.
More than a thermometer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even after the first degree, I was like, okay, this is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I got my associates in theater arts. So, I mean, yes, it's a degree. I earned it. But then it was kind of like, this is not it.
Yeah.
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 Then when I got my bachelor's degree, it
Mhm.
still was kind of like, this is it. This is
Yeah.
what we call success.
Yeah.
Walking across the stage or doing that. I remember sitting at my bachelor's graduation, and I was just kind of like, I did all that work for this. Like, this piece of paper.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I put myself through the ringer for this piece of paper.
Yeah.
Now, take it. That piece of paper has gotten me into some doors.
Correct.
But still, just, even doing all that I did just to get it,
Mhm.
and it got me a little bit.
Mhm.
But after I got my actually even before then, like when I went into ministry school,
Yeah.
had no money,
Yeah.
no job, no
Yeah.
really income coming in, but yet I felt very successful with what I was doing with my life because
Okay.
I was doing what I was supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And I was answering a call that I felt God had put on my life to do what I was supposed to be doing. Not that my degrees were not good and validated. They were great. I'm glad I got them. Even continuing on. But that didn't define my success.
Okay.
For me, being successful is more than just a goal. Like, I can have a goal. Like, you can complete a degree. That's a goal. That's a check mark off of your, success story in a sense. Maybe a chapter of it.
Okay.
But being successful is really staying in that vein where you're supposed to be staying into. And then with that, things follow.
Okay.
When you're in alignment with
Mhm.
how you're supposed to be in alignment with,
Yeah.
and doing the things that you're gifted to do, you're talented to do, and then you know that it's a part of what you're supposed to be doing,
Mhm.
then that adds up to be successful. Is that sometimes monetary complements it? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do my degrees complement it? Absolutely. But there's times that I have looked successful on paper, but I didn't feel very successful because I was miserable with what I was doing.
Okay. Okay. You said a lot, and I wanna
Mhm.
break some of that stuff down from what I was hearing. So you talked about success, and a lot of times, is it fair to say that a lot of times we equate success with accomplishments?
True. Very
And
much so.
a lot of times those accomplishments are very fleeting. Like the feeling
Very.
of reaching them is very fleeting.
Mhm.
And I think I heard you say, you said, I did all this work, which, yeah, journey process to get a piece of paper, which that piece of paper has helped you get into certain doors.
Yeah.
And like realizing that no matter how much success,
Right.
quote unquote, you thought you wanted,
Mm-hmm.
the goals you hit,
Right.
you weren't really satisfied until you were feeling purposeful.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's something that's like a key thing when I talk to a lot of people is, they're like, either they're chasing it,
Right.
or they got a taste of it and they're like, man, I thought it was gonna be more. Because that success is not just a location or accomplishment.
Right.
It's actually, like you said, a purpose
And a journey.
and a journey. Yeah.
It's a purpose and a journey.
Yeah. And I have this question for you. Okay. How would you delineate between, like, how do you know what's an accomplishment and what's your purpose? What do you think?
I feel one of the biggest delineation between the two is going to be, for me,
Mhm.
an accomplishment is a check mark. I did that. I
Hold on.
actioned it.
An accomplishment is a check mark. Go ahead, bro.
I did it. I accomplished it. I
Yeah.
got that degree. I visited this country. I check marked these things off the list. But purpose is a continuation and in a vein that you stay in,
Mhm.
a flow in which you stay in.
Mhm.
That can't necessarily be a check mark
Okay.
because it's a continuation.
Okay.
It's not you could be in it one day and out of it the next, in all reality, if you're not staying in that alignment.
Yeah.
But the biggest differentiation between the two for me is, one is a check mark, one is a continual flowing in a vein.
Yeah. So for a person who's saying, okay, I love what you're saying, talking about flowing in that vein and then continually, and talking about sometimes you can get out of purpose, could we almost equate walking in purpose to what would you equate walking in purpose to? So for a person, this is the first time hearing this and they're like, okay, I want to walk in my purpose. How do I do that? What would you equate it to? Give them like a thought process that they can start building off of. And I'll follow up.
For me, it's the accumulation of things.
Okay.
So you have your desires,
Okay.
as in you really enjoy doing certain things,
Mhm.
A hobby or a craft or things like that, or some of it's something that you're really good at. Like for me, I love puzzles.
Yes, you do.
I love problem solving, and I love, you wouldn't believe it sometimes, but I do love organizing things and putting it into a order and a manner. Even as a kid, I would take, I don't know if I ever told you this, but I would take
Oh gosh.
playing cards. And I would literally, after I got done playing, I would put them by suit, by number, in an order to put them back in there. And it was
You
just
needed
fun
something
to me.
to do.
It was fun to me to do that. I don't know why. I love doing
I
it.
have no idea. I don't know why either.
But that has kind of guided and shaped me
Mhm.
into the things that I enjoy doing now.
Okay.
And so I love being creative. Yes, I love designing flowers. I love doing things like that, and that's an outlet to me. But on the other hand of it, I'm really good at numbers.
Mhm.
I'm really good at putting things together and putting problem solving and putting puzzles together. And so for me, my journey was taking those things
Mhm.
that I was good at. I was always good at math. I was always good at, not necessarily science, just math and maybe physics and things that were math oriented sciences. Don't ask me to do biology. Don't ask me to do anatomy. It was a horrible experience in those classes. But when you put numbers in there,
Mhm.
it's something had shaped me into what had guided me through a teenager, as a kid, and now into my adulthood, that it's like, you know what? I'm really good at this.
Mhm.
Like, and now when it comes to for the kingdom, I say kingdom, but like doing my purpose and what I'm supposed to be doing,
Hmm.
those all come into alignment together and really help shape that.
Okay, so let let's break that down.
Okay.
Okay, so you talked about, we talked about a flow, getting into the
Hmm.
flow, and then we also talked about alignment, and we also talked about the kingdom, which is a huge topic. It's
That's a whole
a
different
whole
series,
different
guys.
series. Um, so you talked about your numbers, your all these little things in your life that were kind of like guideposts to help you
Yeah,
go
that's
towards
a good way to put it. Guideposts.
guideposts to help you go find purpose.
Hmm.
And so for the people that are watching, your purpose, you'll look at your life, look at the things, always we talk about this, look at the things in your life that frustrate you.
Oh.
Yeah, look at the things in your life that you're passionate about. Look at the things in your life
Hmm.
that you're like, man, I really, you're so passionate, and it's like it's a burden. It's a burden on you that you need to do it. It's like, I need to do this. I need to do X. And you may have experienced that things in your younger life that you're like, man, I don't like when animals are mistreated.
Right.
I don't like, for me, I didn't like when I saw coaches mistreat players.
Yeah.
So that was something I was so passionate about, and I experienced it, and I was like, that I won't let that happen to somebody else.
Right.
So asking the question for you tonight is, what are the things in your life that you're passionate about? What are the things that are
Mm.
upsetting you? And what are the things that you feel like you can do? Well, a great way of saying is purpose is finding your secret sauce.
Ooh, secret
Secret,
sauce.
what's your barbecue sauce? Chick-fil-A? Chick-fil-A sauce? Polynesian? I
I
say
mean, I
that.
like Chick-fil-A sauce, but that's.
That's true. I say that because once you find your sauce or who you really are, like for me,
Yeah.
finding out that I'm a coach,
Yeah.
yeah, finding out that I've always coached, but I didn't know that I could do it outside of just the soccer field. But
Hmm.
finding that has allowed me the freedom to be okay with just being me.
Hmm.
I feel in purpose because I'm not trying to be someone else, do something else, or you know,
Right.
fit a mold that I wasn't made to fit in.
Right.
Yeah. So talk a little more about what is something that you feel like. What do you feel like your purpose is like right now? What vein are you operating in? What do you feel like your purpose is right now?
That's a great question. So, we've been kind of in a unique transition. We've only been in Oklahoma for a year now.
Shout out Tulsa.
Shout out to Tulsa. But one of my things that I absolutely love is bringing order to chaos. And the one thing that if I walk into a room and it is chaotic, and I'm not even saying just like the atmosphere, but if the room is chaotic and, you know, um, things are not where they're supposed to be.
Like things are out of order in the room, like
Things,
structure
yeah,
or
structure,
okay,
everything.
okay, I got you,
So,
I got you, I got you.
um, for me, and it's also a struggle because if I go into a place and I don't have the authority or the access to fix it, I just have to deal with it. And I have to tell myself it's not my problem. Because part of the downfall with me is I want to solve every problem I see. And you
Hmm.
can't do that. And so, um, but for me and where I am in my assignment right now in multiple areas is bringing order to certain situations in whether it be designing a new system, whether it be organizing um, uh, an event,
Hmm. Hmm.
and making sure that people are held accountable within their actions for that. Those are things that I thrive in and I'm good at.
Hmm.
Um, I know for me, and part of it is I have to have a clear beginning and a clear end on a project. Like
Hmm.
just a day in and day out routine is
Not good for you.
not good for me. I have to have the switch up, but bringing that order to a chaotic situation and being able to get things where they're supposed to be is something that I absolutely know that is what I am in the vein of right now in just different areas.
Yeah. What I see like for you is you are like, you know, you are a purpose. You're what I see for you like purpose wise is like a problem solver.
I love
You,
it.
you
Yeah.
can pretty much go into any situation, identify the problem, identify what's going on, identify the structural issues, identify all
Mm-hmm.
this, and then be able to like, all right, here's how we should solve this.
Right.
And that's so cool because I mean I see you do that consistently even at our house. It's what you would do even if like nobody
It
pays
doesn't
you.
start. It
Yeah,
doesn't turn off for me.
yeah.
I try. I really do.
Hmm.
Sir.
Yes, I said okay. Um, so I want to ask you one more follow up question.
Okay.
So now, how important is it to know your purpose, and why do you think it's important?
It's easy to say, yes, it's absolutely important to know your purpose because without it, you perish. Um,
Okay, okay, I like it.
Without it, there is, yes, there's a reason to live. Yes, you have all these even cliche type things of, yeah, I got this. But when you know your purpose
Hmm.
and you know you're in the vein that you're supposed to be in, and my vein is different from your vein,
Yes,
and my railroad's completely different. And if I
yes,
get distracted and I look at your road and get jealous of your railroad,
yeah.
of where you're heading down,
Hmm.
then I'm going to run off mine into yours
Mm.
or into another one and cause a distraction and cause chaos. So when I know my purpose and my vein, then it's not that, okay, it gives me a reason to live. That's not the case. There's many more reasons to live, but it brings a joy and a fulfillment to you in your life that you're like, you know what, I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, and
That's
only
good.
you can determine that.
Yeah.
Like, anybody else can tell you, you're good at this, you're good at that, you should do this, you should get that, but until you recognize yourself what you are good at,
Yeah.
then you're going to be in that same cycle until you realize that. And like I said, it's not a monetary thing.
Yeah.
But if you're passionate and in doing what you're supposed to be doing, things tend to follow it because you're doing it with excellence and you're doing it with a passion and a desire
It'll be
that
different.
can't be matched.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're
Yeah.
enjoying what you're doing. So it's not I clock in, I clock out, I do this, I do that. Like, you have that purpose behind you of
Yeah.
knowing why you're doing what you're doing in whatever industry, whatever facet that's going to be in. Like,
Yeah.
you're doing it.
Yeah.
And I had a good conversation with somebody the other day about certain things. Like, I am passionate about designing and doing flowers and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And yes, it does bring joy to people, and yes, I love doing it, but is that something that is completely my purpose? Only
Okay.
I can decide that.
Yeah, yeah.
And do I want to be doing that every day in the rest of my life, or do I keep it as a hobby and as a joy?
Yeah.
So you have to decide where that balance is.
Hmm.
And how to navigate that, because at the end of the day, when you close your eyes,
Yeah.
you're dealing with yourself.
Come on, that's good.
Yeah,
for
you go
sure.
to a place where no one else is there. When you close your eyes and you think and you pray or you meditate, whatever you do,
Yeah.
it's you. No
Yeah.
one else is allowed in that space.
Yeah.
And you have to deal with your own thoughts.
Yeah.
Because even though we are married and we've been married for 11 amazing years,
Going on 12.
this
Yeah.
man cannot go into my brain.
Hold on, we gotta celebrate that. Going on 12.
Going on 12. But even in those 12 years, amazing as they are, you don't want to be in my brain.
I do not.
Exactly.
I'd be lost.
It would be very organized, though. I'm just kidding. No, it wouldn't be. Because
Okay.
even on the outside, I'm good at bringing chaos. My brain goes 1,000 miles an hour.
At least 2,000.
Probably 2,000. You're absolutely correct. I will not argue with that.
Yeah. And man, something you said is like only you know, because you can do a lot of good things.
Absolutely.
Something I've kind of come to right now is you can do a lot of good things, you do a lot of great things, or you
Mhm.
can do a lot of God things.
Yep.
Good, great God. And when you do a lot of good things, like maybe that's like, man, you're really good at, cooking.
Mhm.
But just because you're good at it doesn't mean that's your purpose.
Right. I mean, I'm good at baking,
Yeah.
but
So,
I don't want to bake. That's not my purpose.
exactly. And a lot of times, like a lot of people get caught out doing what they're good at.
Right.
And they spend their whole life trying to do what they're good at because it impresses people.
Right.
And you can make a lot of money doing what you're good at
Mhm.
or what you're great at.
Yeah.
And then you can do a lot of God things
Mm.
where you feel so purposeful,
Right.
where it's almost like I gotta do this.
Right.
And even when you run out of, this is how I know when I'm doing a God thing,
Mm.
because even when I feel low in energy, I always seem to find the energy to do it.
That's good.
And something like that really kind of challenged me is like, all right, the God things usually come with a lot of discipline. And we don't like to talk about that. That's a cuss word in our society right now. But they come with a lot of discipline
Mhm.
because they're so valuable.
Right.
So whenever you're doing a God thing like helping people build these strategies, you've been doing this for years.
A long time.
Yeah. A lot of discipline.
Right.
Yeah. And now you're so good at it that you can almost just like kind of smell like something's off.
Mhm.
Yeah. But it comes with a discipline of answering the simple everyday yes.
Right.
Yeah. So, man, I love talking to you.
I know.
You're
I mean,
awesome.
it's a good thing we live together.
Yes. I ain't gonna go somewhere else. I was gonna go somewhere else, but people don't know us like that, so it would be very awkward. But I love you with all my heart.
Love you too, baby.
All right, guys. Thank you for taking the time to be a part of the Pursuer community. It's been a special show with yours truly, my beautiful wife, Lauree Randolph. Thanks for coming on the show, babe.
You're welcome, honey.
I'm watching the chat. People are shouting you out, babe. So.
Oh, that's nice.
We love you, Pursuer community. Thank you for all the time. Thank you for the time you've taken to hang out with us. We will see you next time. Have a great day. And don't forget to share this with a friend. I believe it'll bless their life.